Welcome to Biafra Battle Cry Television. We are glad to have you here today. We brought to you national economic disaster raging in the damnable Zoological Republic, a contraction cursed by Motsi Nnamdi Kanu, the prophet of our time. Lovers of freedom all over the world, that is not enough, there is economic crunch at the moment in the Zoological Republic. According to BBC, Nigeria is currently experiencing its worst economic crisis in a generation, leading to widespread hardship and anger. A liter of petrol costs more than 3 times what it did 9 months ago, while the price of the staple food, rice, has more than doubled in the past year. These two figures highlight the difficulties that many Nigerians are facing as wages have not kept up with the rising cost of living. Like many nations, Nigeria has experienced economic shocks from beyond its shores in recent years, but there are also issues specific to the country, partly driven by the reforms introduced by President Bola Tinubu when he took office last May. How bad is the economy? Overall, annual inflation, which is the average rate at which prices go up, is now close to 30%, the highest figure in nearly 3 decades. The cost of food has risen even more, by 35%. However, the monthly minimum wage, set by the government and which all employers are supposed to observe, has not changed since 2019, when it was put at 30,000 naira. This is worth just $19.15, at current exchange rates. Many are going hungry, rationing what food they have or looking for cheaper alternatives. In the north, some people are now eating the rice that is normally discarded as part of the milling process. The waste product usually goes into fish food. Widely shared social media videos indicate how some are reducing portion sizes. One clip shows a woman cutting a fish into 9 pieces rather than the average 4 to 5. She is heard saying her goal is to ensure her family can at least eat some fish twice a week. What is causing Nigeria's economic crisis? Inflation has soared in many countries, as fuel and other costs spiked as a result of the war in Ukraine. But President Tinubu's efforts to remodel the economy have also added to the burden. On the day he was sworn in 9 months ago, the new president announced that the long-standing fuel subsidy would be ending. This had kept petrol prices low for citizens of this oil-producing nation, but it was also a huge drain on public finances. In the first half of 2023, it accounted for 15% of the budget, more than the government spent on health or education. Mr. Tinubu argued that this could be better used elsewhere. However, the subsequent huge jump in the price of petrol has caused other prices to rise as companies pass on transportation and energy costs to the consumer. One other factor that is pushing up inflation is an issue that Mr. Tinubu inherited from his predecessor, Muhammadu Buhari, according to financial analyst Taiwo Adebayo. He told the BBC's Newsday program that the previous government had asked the country's central bank for short-term loans to cover spending amounting to $19 billion. The bank printed the money, which helped fuel inflation, Mr. Adebayo said. What has happened to the naira? Mr. Tinubu also ended the policy of pegging the price of the currency, the naira, to the US dollar rather than leaving it up to the market to determine on the basis of supply and demand. The central bank was spending a lot of money maintaining the level. But scrapping the peg has led the naira's value to plunge by more than 2/3, briefly hitting an all-time low last week. Last May, 10,000 naira would buy $22, now it will only fetch around $6.40. As the naira is worth less, the price of all imported products has gone up. When will things get better? While the president is unlikely to reverse his decisions on the fuel subsidy and the naira, which he argues will pay off in the long run by making Nigeria's economy stronger, the government has introduced some measures to ease the suffering. You know, the scripture said in Proverbs 29 verse 2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Thanks for watching and please share.
Thank you. As far as I'm concerned, the economy is not working. Nigerian economy is not in green. Nigerian economy is not in amber. Nigerian economy is in red. The only thing is, it is not yet in crimson. That is it. I have reasons. In a country where the monthly minimum wage of a citizen cannot buy a 50 kg bag of rice, that economy is in trouble. In a country where the minimum wage of citizens cannot buy a 50-liter diesel jerrycan of diesel, quote me that country is in trouble. So we are living in a country where the variables are wrong. They are not working. We are on the wrong trajectory. I've analyzed it from an engineering perspective. We are wrong. I analyze it as a chartered accountant. We are wrong. I've analyzed it as a tax practitioner and a chartered tax analyst. Nigeria is on the wrong track. And we are talking about media moderation now. You are seeing a country where strategic industrial sectors are collapsing. Strategic domestic sectors are collapsing. Strategic commercial sectors are collapsing, and somebody will tell me the economy is working. The economy is not working. Okay. And we better get it right. You're talking about a country where between 1965 and 1989, the then generation of leaders that we felt were illiterate conceived the idea of having at least 4 refineries. As a practicing petroleum engineer and a gas engineer from 1990 to now 2024, you're talking about 34 good years. The generation of leaders that we have didn't deem it fit to maintain what they inherited. They didn't deem it fit to construct a single refinery. Do you expect anybody to tell you that we're going to run into energy crisis? You don't need anybody to tell you that we're going to run into energy crisis. Look at the institutional investors that are in Nigeria, especially the multinational companies. They are running away because of business climate hostilities. And somebody will tell me, with my engineering knowledge, with my accounting knowledge, that they are divesting. You can't tell me that. They are not divesting. They are running away because we are experiencing business climate hostilities. It is only in Nigeria that you see people you call leaders, and they cannot tell you the difference between commercialization, privatization, liberalization, or even deregulation. This is the country we belong to. So it's not working.